Chair Abishant, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask that Representative Jenne be recognized to offer his farewell remarks.
Representative Jenne, you are recognized.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. First of all, before we get started, thank each and every one of you. I'll get more specific later on. I can guarantee this much: I will not have the longest speech of the year. Looking at someone from Defuniak. Really, I want this to be as positive as humanly possible. I get a little aggressive sometimes. I think some of you may know that, but that's not. I might need that, Steve.
Yeah, but you might walk around.
All right, you're fair enough. And really, what I want to do is, unlike Representative Keir, after this speech is done, I want you all to have a good taste in your mouth. Yes, I made that joke. And I think it's only appropriate. We've had a lot of controversial bills today, so I'm honored, Chairman Abishant, that I got this day. And it's February 29th. I know I stick out like a sore thumb sometimes for different reasons, but I appreciate the day as well. First, I want to say thank you to the 100 and some odd thousand people in District 100. If it weren't for them continuously send me back over the last 3 terms, I would have never had this opportunity, to have my voice heard in this manner. Without them, really, none of this would have been possible. The thing that really means a lot to me about District 100 is it's actually where I was born and raised. And that's not to denigrate anyone or anyone that came from another area, but to be able to walk the same streets that you rode your bike down as a kid, drive by your house that you used to grow up in, see your high school, and know that you're standing up for those same people that helped bring you up, really means a lot to me personally. Next up, of course, and I know you're watching at home, my dear mother, who, when I told her I was running for office, didn't speak to me for about 14 days, because she's the one with the good sense in the family. I love you so very much. Without you, I wouldn't be who I am. My sense of humor, sometimes, albeit maybe not the most highbrow, does come from that particular side of the family. So thank you so much for everything you've ever done for me. Next up, of course, my little sister, Sarah Elizabeth Ann Jenne, who's watching right now. Representative Legg's not here. She really liked watching you guys argue. I got a text message earlier that literally said, "Toilet talk, this is great." So thank you for introducing her to the House in that manner, Representative Dorworth. Really one of the the proudest, perhaps the proudest moment I ever had in the legislature. If you think I sit slightly left of center, my sister, you could not throw a baseball far enough to get left of center for where my sister is, in all honesty. But she, a couple months ago, she said to me, we were eating dinner, and she said, "You know, you managed to pull it off. You didn't, I don't feel like you sold out." And she was convinced I would sell out like that. That's just her mentality. But when you told me that, what camera am I looking at? Anybody know? I need to look her in the eye when I do this. Which one? Wherever you are. Camera, come to me. You, there. Thank you. Thank you so much. It really was one of the most meaningful things you've ever said to me. Even the thousands of times you said that you've loved me. But I just needed you to know that in full public view. It really meant so much, and it was just me, you, and Mom sitting around talking. So thank you, my dear. And round out the nuclear family, my father, Ken Jenne. Some of you had the opportunity to serve with him. He was in the Senate for quite a while, about 30 years. And really gave me my love of policy, my love of this process, just a sense of urgency when it comes to the job that we do here. And he never said, you have to do it this way, because we would have conversations, we still do. And it is, have you completely lost your mind? That's what he says to me, obviously not the other way around. But he understands that I am different than he is. I will always be different than he is. I am his son. I will always be his son. But we are different human beings. We disagree on a lot of stuff. Namely, some of the interns he might have hired through the years. Little secret. Jimmy Petronis' first job in the legislature was as an intern from my father in the Senate. Don't tell anybody. But it means a lot to have him there. As a lot of you know, I'll talk a little bit more about it. It's been a bumpy 6 years for me in certain respects. In others, it's been great. But I just need him to know as well my love, my respect, every emotion that I have that can be described as positive will always be with you. And I love you for what you've given me. I love you for who you are. And flat out, I just love you. I love Mom. I love Sarah. Thank you all so very much. I was not blessed with a large extended family, but I do want to thank some of the surviving members. My Aunt Marie DiStefano in Venice Beach. So you West Coast guys, if you start messing with Venice Beach, I'm going to have to come talk to you on Aunt Marie's behalf. But I lost my grandparents at a very young age, except for one of them, Phyllis Maslanka. And Phyllis is the reason why the whitest guy in the chamber gets so worked up over immigration issues. If you've been to my office, you've seen a picture of her. She was an immigrant from Sicily. She had to scratch and claw just with her sisters just to get by through the Great Depression. And she's always meant the world to me. I keep pictures of her with me no matter where I am. And I know you can hear me out there someplace. Graham, thank you. I love you. Uncle Spence, I love you. Everybody that we lost, I love you. Next up, I want to thank two particular people. My godfather, a gentleman by the name of Fred Littman, Representative Frisch, I believe you remember him as well. I think some other folks know him. I am, by birth, I suppose, Episcopalian. I don't talk a lot about religion on the floor, but yes, I am, in fact, Episcopalian. When it came down time for me to have godparents, obviously, if those of you know Fred Littman, he is not Episcopalian. He is Jewish. So the man literally had to sign special paperwork with the Episcopal Church to be my godparents, basically saying, hey, listen, the parents die, you can't raise him Jewish. He's got to be raised Episcopalian. It just has to be that way. So I have all these great pictures of him and Judy, his wife, holding me at my baptism. Now, fast forward about 30 years, literally. I'm out someplace and I see him and we're talking. And I just relay the same story, signed paperwork to say I wouldn't be converted to Jewish if I was a baby and my parents died. And Fred's about yay tall, and he turns and looks at me and says, you do realize you would have been a Jew the next day, right? Fred, for all of your advice, your love, everything that you and Aunt Judy ever gave to me through the years, from literally the second I was born, probably before the second I was born to be correct, to this very moment, it means the world to me, and I think of you both a whole lot. Up next, some folks that are very close to me have nothing to do with the process, so I can't say, Representative Frisch, you haven't served with any of these folks. These are just folks I grew up with. But first, I really want to thank, and they're back at home and out in California, Richard and Darnell Wright and their little baby Viv, who I only went home once this weekend, and it was to go to her second birthday party. I love them with all my heart. They've stood by me through thick and thin, no matter what was going on. And you and the entire Wright family out in Oakland, you just mean the world to me. You guys came to me at a very low point in my life, and you helped raise me up, and I appreciate that a whole heck of a lot. Ethan Norman up in New York, buddy, I see you. You and Naja, I'm so happy for you. I know where things are going, and know that I think about you guys all the time, especially when I thoroughly dominate you in fantasy football. Up next, I really want to thank a guy by the name of John Primo back home. John's always stood by my side. He's always been there for me, and he's always let me know that even when he disagrees with me, he still kind of gets a chuckle out of it. So, John, thank you. Attorney General Bob Butterworth has been a longtime friend of mine. When he was a young district attorney with my father, they actually called him Batman and Robin together because they were putting so many people behind bars. So, General, thank you. Marta, his sweet wife, thank you so much as well. I need to thank Art and Daisy Kennedy. Art Kennedy works for United States Congressman Alcee Hastings. Art and Daisy's relationship is the very definition in my eyes of love and devotion, and I don't think we get to hear about that enough sometimes on this floor. Art, the things that you do for Daisy, I just need you to know how highly I think of you, and it's just, you're an amazing human being to me. Next up, my campaign manager. I mean, she did get me elected 3 times, right? I need to say thank you to her. Judy, I know you're watching back in Fort Lauderdale. Thank you so very much. You've been great to me. I wouldn't be here at this desk without you, so thank you so much. To Marcia Current and the women at the Susan B. Anthony Recovery Center, where I'm the president of the board, thank you. You've helped giving my life another meaning. Just having the charitable instinct to go out there and help you guys, and to know that the struggles that you go through on a day-to-day basis and how you're making yourselves better human beings really makes me want to work that much harder, because I know that things that you go through on a day-to-day basis pale in comparison to sitting in an air-conditioned room in a leather chair. So thank you all for that. Pat Lambert and Mickey Jarrett were 2 very early supporters of mine that are no longer with us. They both jumped on board very early. One was a Democrat, one was a Republican. One was a senior, one was a union member, a Republican union member. Think of that. Yeah, I know they exist, Chris. They actually exist. They're not like unicorns. But I think you guys a lot. Mickey, when it comes to the senior issues, and Pat, whenever a UFC fight comes on, I think you, so it's pretty constant these days.